Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Is obesity contagious? Can you catch it from sitting too close to somebody on the bus? Today, we're going to be examining that question as well as many others with one of my favorite creators on TikTok, More Than Tracy T. I think the answer is obvious. Of course obesity is contagious. To prepare myself for these clips, I must first apply comb to mustache. Alright, Tracy is going to be stitching with this person that is saying, I will not associate with you if you're fat.
Associate with you if you're fat.
You won't associate with me if I'm fat? I'm sorry, who are you?
That's when it matters, because who you hang around with truly does impact.
I think she thinks it's catching.
I don't know if she thinks it's catching, but there's definitely something up with her. She thinks that people care who she's going to hang out with. Oh, please, woman that I do not know, come hang out with me, your majesty.
Back in 2007, there was this study that showed essentially that being friends with fat people or being related to fat people increased your chances of being fat yourself.
It sounds like another one of those stupid correlation instead of causation type of studies. If being fat means that you're more likely to hang out with other fat people, I don't think that that means that it makes you fat to hang out with those other fat people. You were probably already fat, and then you decided to hang out with them. Maybe you had similar interests.
And after that, there was this panic about the obesity epidemic and how you shouldn't hang out with fat people because that would make you more likely to be fat. So
you don't want to catch the obese from one of your friends.
The idea that it's catching is not new. But what no one ever seems to consider is that maybe the reason that fat people are more likely to be friends with other fat people is because other fat people are less likely to judge us and be bigoted.
Okay, I'm going to have to agree with this. Obviously, you're going to hang out with people that are not going to judge you. I'm going to have to agree with this. Fat people are more likely to hang out with other fat people because they feel like they accept them and they understand their struggles. They're like, hey, you're fat. I'm fat. I understand your struggles, bruv. I also hate it when all the thin mints and skinny minis take up all the plus-size clothing at the thrift store. We can bond over this mutual hatred.
And not want to associate with other fat people because they are that freaking afraid of looking like us. Honestly.
Whoa. Nobody's afraid of looking like you. We're afraid of looking like the worst version of ourselves.
It's kind of hilarious to me because imagine being so afraid.
Nobody's afraid of being fat as if we're afraid of looking like you. And we're not afraid of being fat, we just don't want to be fat.
Of being fat, that you literally convince yourself that by being around fat people, you'll become fat by osmosis. But let's be real, being fat may not be catching, but social ostracization sure is.
I didn't read the article, but if it insinuates that you become larger by being around larger people, that's obvious bollocks. It's like that silly attempt to try to say that obesity was genetic from back in the day. How come large people have large kids? How come this, that, and the other thing? The environment. Large people are feeding their kids the same stuff that they're eating to become large. That's how they became large. I don't think that anybody is taking that study from ABC News seriously. It looked more like something that you would read when you're sitting on the toilet, like a tabloid or something. I know that nobody with a functioning brain is taking that seriously. Next. Oh yeah, she's responding to this clip again for some reason.
For someone who wants to associate with me, I will not associate with you if...
I think it's hilarious to begin with that this person made this video talking about who they will and will not associate with. Like, who are you? I'm sorry.
You're fat.
The thing about being fat that nobody tells you is that every skinny person is convinced that you want them.
That's silly. You don't want me? Oh.
You want to date them. You want to be their friend.
You do want to date me. You do want to be my friend.
You are after them.
You are.
You are insatiably hungry for their attention.
Oh man, I love this acting.
And they make a point of telling you you're not worthy of it. But if they... But they never stop to consider that maybe they're not worthy of yours.
Oh, mic drop, son. Maybe you're not worthy of the larger person's time and affections. You ever stop to consider that?
And then, of course, if you tell them that, they will just insult you so fucking bad to your face and try to make you like a public spectacle.
Well, you were supposed to be going after them. Remember in the beginning you were talking about how since you're overweight, you're supposed to be going after the thin person and trying to be their friend and get with them and this and that. So then when you tell them, wait a minute, you should be trying to come after me and all this type of stuff, they're like, hey, get back in your frickin' place, obese friend. You're supposed to be the funny fat friend, like that stupid song.
Any fat girl who's ever been fake asked out and told the guy no can attest to this.
If people are fake asking you out, that's messed up.
I just cannot imagine walking around through life assuming that anybody who looked a certain way wanted a piece of me.
Well, you should try it. It feels good. Whether it's true or not, it makes you feel good. You should always assume that everybody that you see wants you. Whether it's true or not, I mean, it makes you feel good. I like to live in a world of delusions, and I like to just hear what I want to hear. Thanks, I have been working out.
I guess instead of that, I have to assume that they all want me dead.
Oh, more than Tracy T, you are completely unhinged. Oh my god, look at where I paused it. Okay, well, you know, you don't have to assume that people want you dead just because they didn't show any interest in you. Those aren't the only two options. It's not just he wants to do me or he wants to kill me. There's an in-between somewhere. Sometimes we want to do you and then kill you. That sounded crazy. That sounded real crazy. You make it sound like those are the only two extremes. Like, I want to do you or I want to kill you. There's no in-between. There's no I want to hang out with you for a bit and then kill you.
And that's on being fat.
Okay, well, there you go. Next. Alright, she's going to be responding to this comment that says, the amount of times people have told me I'm not fat just because they're attracted to me. That's not how that works. Oh, they thought you were insulting yourself. You were like, I'm so fat. And they're like, no, you're not. And you're like, yes, I am, dang it. It's kind of weird that you insist on calling yourself fat in the middle of this date, but okay.
I think sometimes men perceive like a bit of a cultural obligation to do this too, because there's like that cliche of the husband and wife getting ready to go out and the wife puts on a dress and is like, does this make me look fat? And everybody knows the correct answer for the husband is no, how could anything ever make you look fat?
Is that the correct answer? Oh, crap. I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Yeah, babe, you look fat as hell. Just kidding. I'm a gentleman, god damn it. Don't you ever tell me I'm not a frickin' gentleman. I'll make you pay. I'll make you all frickin' pay.
You're so beautiful, right?
That is the correct answer. Thank you for noticing.
And so there becomes this idea that you can't ever tell a girl she looks fat.
I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. You know, if I'm being real, I'd say that's a pretty good bit of advice. Don't go around calling women fat. Yeah, you could save yourself a lot of headache by not doing that. That's for sure.
Or like refer to her as anything but skinny, because she'll perceive that as an insult and she will get mad at you.
Right, it's a fun little game that we play, right? Where we say, hey, babe, how do I look? And then you're supposed to pretend that I look great. And you don't perceive any flaws. And you just tell me the good things. It's a fun little game we play as human beings. It's called deluding ourselves and others.
But the root problem is the same, which is that we as a society have so strongly associated fat with like bad, ugly, everything negative.
Well, fat is something that you can change, unlike genetics and stuff. There are many different elements that go into the way that a person looks. Their weight is just one of many. And unlike other aspects of yourself, your weight you can actually change and is actually in your control. So I think that's why a lot of people focus on it.
That people now think that fat just means bad?
No. People think that it looks not good. So they do something to try to get rid of it.
And if you call someone fat, you're calling them bad. And if you tell someone you're not fat, what you really mean is you're not bad.
No. Once again, fat has nothing to do with morality like you guys keep trying to say. You keep trying to say that people are accusing you of being immoral because they said that you're fat. If I don't want to be fat, it's not because I think that fat people are immoral or anything like that. It's because I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way that it feels, and it's completely within my control, so why don't I go ahead and control it? I can't stop the war going on over there, but I can control what I eat and how I exercise. You know, I'm just trying to do my part, control the things on this planet that I can. Next.
If you do not date fat people because you just happen to view fatness as neutral but not be particularly attracted to it, fine.
But if you don't want to date fat people for some other kind of reason that is completely your own personal business, it is not fine, right?
That's a preference.
Okay. Well, thanks for telling me who I can date. I have a feeling, though, that you're going to tell me if I don't want to date fat people because of X, Y, or Z, then we have a problem.
If you don't date fat people because you think being fat means that they are gross, lazy, live an unhealthy lifestyle, or are embarrassing to be seen with in public, that's fatphobic.
So if I think that it's okay to be fat and I'm neutral with it and I'm just not attracted with it, that's cool. But if I think that you're lazy or gross because you're fat, that's not cool. I'm allowed to judge people based on the way that I think that they behave, however much I want. If I see a bunch of bloodstains on the front of your car, I can go ahead and assume that you just ran over a bunch of deer and kept driving. Whether or not that's true doesn't really matter. I'm going to assume that. I could be wrong, but who cares? I'm assuming it.
But to insist your preference is for people who aren't lazy, sloppy, and disgusting and unhealthy, meaning that means you prefer skinny people because all fat people are those other things?
Well, you can prefer whatever you would like to prefer.
That's actually bigoted.
No, I think what you're saying is bigoted. To try to force things onto people that they don't want just to spare your own feelings is bigoted.
That's actually deciding that one group is all the same because of how they look. Hope that makes sense. Have a good day.
Yeah, I really hoped that was going to make sense too. But here we are, Tracy. Preferences are preferences and they're all valid, and it doesn't matter why you want to be with who you want to be with or what you're into. You don't have to explain to anybody. And your reasons can be whatever they want. You can not want to be with an obese person because you think it looks unhealthy, or you just don't like the way it looks. You're like, I don't know, it just looks like there's a whole bunch of extra you there. I'm not really into it. It's just as simple as that. There's no moral failing. I'm not going on a crusade against fat people. I would personally be too embarrassed to go around trying to rationalize to other people why they should be into me, right? Like, I know you guys aren't into me, but I'm not immoral. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm blah, 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 blah. Like, to try to come up with all these ways to try to convince others to be into you. It's just too embarrassing, dude. I can't do it. If you don't want to be with me, man, that's fine. Those were just a couple of fun clips from our good friend, More Than Tracy T. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.